There's loads of ways for you to profit within Ultimate Team. You can go through the traditional route, which is playing as many games as possible, competing at the highest level. You could do what I do, which is try to trade as much as possible, typically using some very simple and lazy trading methods. Or you can try to grind out as many packs as possible. And if you're not sure how to do that, well, don't worry, because we're going to be going through exactly that in this video. But before we do get into the video, with everything that I just said, there's another way in which you can make the most out of Ultimate Team, which is buying coins. And there is no better place than U4GM. There is a link in the description down below, and if you use code Fanatic, you'll be able to go and get a 5% discount. Thank you U4GM for sponsoring today's video. So the way in which you grind packs is fairly simple. There are loads available. In fact, you could even head over to the store and start going through the bronze pack method, but we are looking at the methods in which is the easiest and also guaranteed to make a good amount of profit. At the very least, be able to build an insanely good team. This year, unknowingly, and it wasn't really part of my plans, but I fell into a first owner pack to glory. It's not something that I'm documenting here on this channel, it's just happened and I'm doing it in my spare time for fun. Whilst I'm still using this account, I share how you can go through and make coins within Ultimate Team, but as I'm playing, I'm only playing with players who I pack. And this is ultimately the routine that I now follow. So firstly, and let's get the simple stuff out the way, in order for us to make the most out of packs, we actually need a source of players. And this comes from the game modes. It doesn't matter which game mode you go through, they all deliver packs. Right now, what I'm doing is going through Division Rivals, playing at the bare minimum, making sure that I get enough wins for me to qualify for my weekly rewards. This year, your seasonal rewards do not matter because you don't get any packs. And then I'm also making sure that I get 1,250 qualification points because that is going to be used for the Champions Playoffs. From there, I will go into the Champions Playoffs, and then I'll also go into the Champions Finals. Any extra time that I have, I will go through squad battles, and sometimes I'll also go through moments only because there are some challenges which require you to go through moments. But this is where I get a decent amount of players, and then that will then be used for us to go through SBCs, which we will talk about in a second. Whilst doing all of this, another way in which I get a lot of players, and now this is slightly different because even though we are getting a lot of players through the packs that we get from those game modes, they're not really that good. It's just there for me to get as many common golds and rare gold players into my club that I can then use within SBCs. But it's rare for me to get good players that I can use for my team. Of course it happens, and the better I perform and the more that I play, that does increase my chances. But at the end of the day, it's still down to chance. Where I get my best players is actually from objectives. This now acts as a source for me to get loads of players, which I can later use for SBCs, but also it allows me to get some really decent players, especially once I progress through the seasonal progression and get towards the end. In fact, so far, most of the high-rated rare gold players that I have within my club have all come from objectives. So what you need to do is prioritize these and start to stack as many challenges as possible. The good news is that they normally require you to go through division rivals or through squad battles. Some may require you to go through champions. But in most cases, it doesn't really matter. It will say that you can go through anything that really suits what you like to go and do within Ultimate Team. The only thing that you do need to make sure is that the challenge itself does fit your team. And with this, you can probably stack maybe 2, potentially 3, potentially even more, depending what challenges are there and what they require you to do within any given moment. A lot that EA have been pushing this year are to include 5 players within a certain league, certain nationality, or a certain quality. So you can get 2 of these going at the exact same time. The pack rewards are not always going to be great, but you also need to take into consideration that whilst going to get these pack rewards, you're also going through and you're getting XP for your daily, weekly, and bi-weekly objectives. And this is also where it links back to that previous point that some of these challenges do require you to complete 3 moments, game modes, or challenges each week, and that will give you additional XP. With this XP, you're then progressing through your seasonal progress, and that's where you're going to get some of the better players that can then be used to improve your club. with all the other packs you get through objectives, those are going to be used for SBCs. And that's what brings us to this point. SBCs. This year has been more of a grind than previous years for myself, as I am going for this unintentional pack pulled first owner club. I spent more time within the menus than ever before, and this is coming from someone who spends most of their time trading. With SBCs, there's one thing that you should know. There are some challenges which are guaranteed profit, so to speak. They may offer untradeable players, but based on what you're submitting, you're most likely going to end up in a better position. And on the other side, we then have those which are pretty much guaranteed to take coins away from you. And quite simply, how to lay these out, and this may not always be the case, but 99% of the time this is the case. If it's requiring you to complete a challenge and in return it's going to give you a player, you're most likely going to lose coins. Remember, at the end of the day, Ultimate Team is still somewhat of a football simulation. It still has the real world rules of football within game. So you're going to be limited to 11 players and then of course your bench. With the amount of content that EA releases for the players that you can get, and the chances of you being able to play with every single one of them is extremely slim. So you want to be somewhat picky on what type of players you go for. However, with those other side, the ones which are most likely to be guaranteed profit, these are mostly packs. Some example of these are going to be your daily logins, any advanced SBCs if you haven't completed them already, your foundation SBCs if you haven't completed them already, marquee matchups, league upgrades, bronze, silver and gold upgrades, bronze, silver and gold premium upgrades, upgrades to do with 78 plus, 80 plus, 81 plus, 83 plus, 84 plus, 85 plus, 86 plus, pretty much any rating, plus your icon upgrade, your hero upgrades, and if there's any promo related upgrades. These are normally worth risking. For most of these, you will be able to profit simple as, such as your daily logins typically require you to submit a bronze player, and in return, you're going to get a bronze player pack, silver player pack, potentially a gold pack. This is also similar with your foundation SBCs. With your advanced SBCs, as long as you go through these by using a site such as FootWiz or FootBin, which shows you how to complete these challenges for cheap, you will make profit. Even though it's untradeable players, these players are still going to have a rating, which you can resubmit back through some of these other SBCs, or you can go and use within your main team. Marquee matchups nowadays are extremely cheap and easy to complete, and if you've gone through those previous steps of going through various game modes and also going through your objectives, you likely have players that can be used with these in every single week. With league upgrades, there's always a set routine that you can go through these. In fact, with league, bronze, silver and gold upgrades, whether that be the standard or premium, you can use the bronze pack method, open 750 coins and then start to upgrade these players. It's a very long process, but still you're likely to make profit from this because you're going to profit from the packs themselves, and with the players that you send to your club, you are gradually upgrading them. Now, just like everything that we talk about within Ultimate Team, it is still down to a chance, but with this it's somewhat strategic. Just because you open one 85 plus upgrade does not mean that you're going to get someone insane and you're going to be able to profit from that by itself. It's likely that you will get the bare minimum of it being just an 85 rated player and not even someone that's expensive. But as you keep on going through these, chances are you will get something good throughout the year. And that in itself is going to be able to pay for all the ones in which you missed out on. And this has certainly been the case this year. Because even though I haven't been trading as much as what I've done in previous years, I've still been able to build a pretty solid club, having some fairly high rated players without needing to go through and buy them, because it's all been through me cycling players through these SBCs. And that's what's been able to build my club. Now, I'm still not relying 100% on everything needing to be pack pulled and the transfer market being off limits, because yet again, this is not a series. What I'm doing with my coins is ended up just investing them within Team of the Week players, doing some very basic trading methods, the bronze pack method, as well as a bit of bulk bidding. Just let that do its thing. And then with the coins that I have, not much has actually been done with them. Occasionally I'll need to go and buy a few players just to go and complete some challenges. So for example, when the league upgrades were released, Yes, I could sit there and go through the bronze pack method to try and pack every single one of them, but there's some times when you want to just go and buy 1 or 2 players just to speed up the process, claim a pack, see what you get, potentially profit from it, and then immediately start again where you go through the bronze pack method again and then start to build up. That just speeds the process up slightly rather than trying to get every single player. And that's typically what my coins have been used for. But just by going through what we've gone through, you will be able to profit within Ultimate Team. You don't really need to be trading that much. It's just an extra thing on top, which I do still recommend doing just because that is where you're going to be getting a lot more coins. But with 99% of my club this year, it's all been built with what I've just gone through in this video. Playing games, completing objectives, and then going through and submitting them to SBCs. The only thing that is likely to change about this within the future is when EA does finally get around to releasing any type of swaps, whether that's icon swaps or potentially something else related to a different type of promo. And it is normally about this time where they start to do that, but we're just waiting to see. If you enjoyed this video and you want to know how to get the most out of Ultimate Team, then I highly recommend clicking that next video on screen. That video has been specifically selected just for you. So I hope you enjoy.